Welcome to Career Tipper Podcast, hosted by Michelle Beatty. The Career Tipper Podcast is a motivational resource that shares career and entrepreneurial tips by industry experts that will help amazing people evolve to their professional best. And now your host, Michelle Beatty.
Episode 32 of the Career Tipper Podcast features life coach to Chief Style Officer of Rebrand You, Shana Robinson. Shana, like most of us, once found herself at a loss, not knowing where to go or what to do next. Knowing she was worth more and deserved more, Shana sought out a path and followed a calling to launch and champion the Curvy Women of Influence movement. She encourages women to accept their curves, to connect with their curves, and dress their curves for success. Shana is changing the conversation on curves. It's not about size, it's about inclusion. Shana works with women and men to help them to dismiss styling challenges and transform their basic corporate look to confidently profiling their polished business style that represents boss moves being made at their best. I'm your host, Michelle Beatty, professional development author and coach. Shana, welcome to the Career Tipper Podcast.
Hi, Michelle. Thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited to be here and can't wait for our conversation today.
Well, let's get started. I want to first have you start off by sharing what was your journey to becoming a professional image consultant?
So, like most of us, I've done a lot of different things. My journey started as a life coach at the age of 24, which I did for about, I would say, 4 years. And during my journey, I hired a lot of coaches as well. And one of them directed me to say, help people find a way to generate income. So I transitioned over to business coaching because I was always super intuitive. And then, of course, with any form of coaching, you know that you start speaking. So I took up a speaking program with Eric Thomas. He's one of the top speakers in the world and became their first female, first certified Canadian speaker under their brand. And it was through that journey that I met my coach through the program, Chris Daniel. And he was, he's become such an amazing friend. But he really said to me, hey, I'm turning 40 this year. I want to revamp my style. Can you help me? And I was like, well, I don't do that. And he was like, no, you do. Like, you're always polished and put together. Just, see what you can do. So I had him send me some images of things that he liked. I put together, 10 images for him and said, if this isn't in your closet, get rid of it. And it was then that I kind of realized, Shana, you have a lot of tools in your tool belt. How can you kind of tie this all together? So this is, where I became a brand image consultant, where I love to help entrepreneurs, but also professionals build their personal brand and brand image. And I consult them on, the 4 different components of doing that.
Love it. Now, Shana, let's start with sharing where should a professional start with defining the vision they want for creating or rebranding their career image? Because I know you just kind of shared that with what you did that made you realize this is what you do, but what's the starting point?
I think that what we need to do first is define what kind of first impression you want to make. So if you look at the job that you're in and you're like, maybe, when we first get a job or first get a new client, your best foot is forward and you look good, you smell good, your energy is high, and then it depletes, right? Because now you're like, I don't have to impress this person anymore, so I can show the real me. And I think that authentically defining that first impression that you want to make and what's important to you. So is it important to have your hair and makeup done all the time? Is it important to have, for the men to have a short haircut or look, have a really tight cut? Is it important for people to see you as warm and open and receptive? Is it important for people to think that you're like cold and standoffish? Like, does that work for you? It's really different for everyone. And that depends on your role, your career lane, if you're face to face with the client or not, and being able to know how to turn it on authentically to deliver that first impression that you want to make and to leave a lasting impression.
Indeed, indeed. Now, what are the components to making it a reality? Like budget, store selection, styling tools, assistance. Like, how do you prep them? Do you give them a checklist, or do you have tutorials, or do you think people should study others? Like, how do they put it together?
Absolutely. So once we've defined, what kind of first impression you want to make, then we look at who your style icons are. So for example, one of mine is Gabrielle Union. Another one of mine is Marjorie Harvey. I just love everything about her. She does The Lady Loves Couture. So she's definitely in high-end items. And I don't want to go that far, but I love just how flawless she is, even if she's rocking a sweater and, some flats. She's just got it going on. She's always put together. So the first thing is, really uncover your style icons. Then set a budget and determine from that budget, are we just getting a couple looks? Do you want to do, I shop in seasons. So fall and winter are together, spring and summer are together. And really a good 10-piece wardrobe can carry you through a season. And then if you want to go and sporadically shop for something, then you can. So defining your budget, defining how many pieces are we actually trying to get, and what will that wardrobe be used for? So this is where we really go into like a day in the life of the client. So, I truly believe that, you need to know yourself, and I'll talk a little bit more on this later, but you need to know what your day looks like. So once you've done that, then you can go into your closet and see, okay, what do we already have that we want to keep? And do a closet cleanse for the things that no longer represent who you are in this season of your life, or they're not a good fit, they're torn, they're tattered. Some people hold on to those things, and then when you're faced with the daunting question of what do I wear today, sometimes we let those items creep in. So we need to get them out of your closet, and then it's shopping time. So clients can either, DIY with some inspiration from me, where just like I mentioned for my coach, where I put together 10 looks for you, and you can go shop on your own. So you can take those pictures, go to the store, pick out whatever you want, and it's totally up to you. Or I have a lot of clients that shop and ship. So I do it virtually for them. It gets shipped to their house. We do a virtual fitting, and, then you have your stuff. Or for the people that love that in-person experience, you can shop with Shana. So literally, I'll fly out to you. I will do your closet cleanse, which is a lot of fun work. We do your fitting, of course, in person, and then we go shopping together, and then we go back home and re-merchandise your closet. And what a lot of people find is that they have a lot of great pieces in their closet, but they don't know what to wear with them. And when you buy just great pieces, normally they don't go together well. So that's part of the re-merchandising phase, is where you really decide, okay, here's some, go-to outfits that you can wear. This is how you can mix and match. Let's take pictures of it. And then the client has that as a reference.
I love it. Who doesn't love a good shopping experience with the stylist? Because every now and then I think it's definitely a good investment, because they see stuff on you that you might not see yourself.
Well, and that just kind of leads me into like the biggest secret that most people forget, is to wear confidence. And so even when I was life coaching, my clients always said that I helped them gain more clarity and confidence. And this is where, I pull my life coaching out to kind of mirror back to them the energy that an outfit is giving to me. I remember taking a young lady shopping, and she kept putting her hands over her stomach, and she didn't even realize she was doing it. And so subconsciously, she was like, I need to hide my stomach. And so I was able to have that conversation with her in the mirror. And then when we were shopping, we really looked for ways to dress what she deemed as an area that she wasn't super happy with. I don't ever call them problem areas, because they're not. And it's not that we need to fix them. It's that we need to learn how to dress it so that we can more confidently, walk through our day. And, for example, wearing power colors, your power colors, my power colors are different from yours. So that's just another way that, you can define what types of pieces go in your closet. But also when I know I put on like my blush duster, I feel like a boss. So, having those power colors in your closet is also another way to just exude confidence.
Fantastic. Now, what are a few styling tips that men and women, novice or seasoned, should keep in mind when determining their professional style in the workplace?
Okay, so this one is all about knowing your personal essence of style. Knowing what's appropriate for you and your workplace to feel both comfortable and confident. The biggest thing, though, is being honest about understanding not only who you're at work, but also who you are before work and after you leave work. A good wardrobe can transition with you during your day effortlessly or to make minor changes. So a lot of women, a lot of professional women, you're waking up in the morning, you maybe have a couple kids that you need to get ready. You probably are working a corporate or at least an office type job. Or maybe you're not wearing, or maybe you don't have a corporate job and you're going to like a retail store or whatever. So you need to be able to know, what do I wear before I leave the house that's going to make me feel super confident to start my day? How do I go through my day and not feel like my skirt is riding up, this is too tight, I'm uncomfortable, all of those awesome fit problems that we have. And then who are you after work? Do you go pick up your kids and go to soccer practice? Or are you meeting with coworkers for drinks and you need that to transition into an evening look? Are you meeting up with your husband, your fiance, your boyfriend, and to go out to another event? And so what happens a lot of times is that we just know what we wear to work and we just become that person. And I truly think that you have to define your essence of style as a woman or as a man. And so I don't believe in style types. We created our own essence of style for people to really figure out who they were and to be able to know how to showcase their personality through their wardrobe.
Yeah, I get that. Because many of us, we are loyal to our style type, whether it was created for us or, like you said, like we created covering something or accentuating something. Like we're loyal for so many reasons. Yes. So please share a small but impactful way men and women can step out of their styling comfort zone, beyond just knowing that, yes, they connect, that they can we're confident, but like what's step one? Or when they have a meeting or they're going to go into a new environment, they might want to retract to what they feel is comfortable. How can they be confident and bold to execute something different?
Perfect. So I would definitely say, I'm going to take it back to your style icon. Study them, study their signature look, and then pick out, one thing that you would like to incorporate into your new wardrobe. It might be a color, a pattern, a texture, printed socks. I'm super obsessed with jumpsuits right now. Like the options are endless. And so, you can look at those and start incorporating them into your signature looks. Anywhere that I go, I love wearing white. People are so afraid of white and I think it's super crisp. And when I was younger, I really had a hard time wearing color. I was afraid of it. I didn't know what to do with it. So I stuck to black and white. So just making a quick change to start injecting some color automatically made a huge difference. So just try one thing new and do it consistently. Try to stick away from the trendy stuff because trends don't always work for us and they tend to be a little bit more bold and outrageous. But you might go, instead of a black pencil skirt, you might do a houndstooth print. You might change the length of the skirt that you wear. For men, like socks are always a good way to go. So you might say, instead of doing basic socks, I'm going to do, something that has a nice print on it, or even a fun print to showcase your personality if that's a little bit more you. I think we all have that dormant inside of us and we all want to be able to do it. And it's really just pulling the trigger and saying, I'm going to purchase something and I'm going to wear it and see what happens.
Challenge yourself to have fun with it.
Yes.
Now, perception of self, or sometimes perception of us based on others' opinions, definitely can impact our styling choices. It happens to everyone at some point in time. So what are confidence tactics that professionals should be mindful of through their intentional styling that you're speaking of?
Yeah, so the biggest one is fit. When you look in the mirror, so a lot of clients that I work with, one of the biggest things that happens is they go in, they tell me that they're a large, an extra large, a 14, a 12, whatever. And I'm like, okay, because I know they're not, but for them, I need to show them, okay, so put this on. This is the size that you think that you are. Now let's go a size or two down. And then when we go a size or two down, that's where they start to see their body and their shape and the lines and the fit of a garment on them. And because in our minds, we perceive ourselves as so much bigger than we are, or that, maybe your post-baby body, my sister just had a baby 4 months ago, and she actually let me style her this past weekend. She has a job interview coming up this week, and she's like facing new challenges with her new post-baby body. And so it was very much an opportunity to show her, you're at different stores, you're different sizes. So don't let that determine anything for you. You need to learn the fit of what it should look like on your body. And I think that if we get away from, the size, and if we really find the stores that work for us, because not all stores work for everybody, then you have some tools in your tool belt that you can pull out and say, hey, when I do need a new piece, I'm going to go to my signature store, pick out some pieces there. I already know my sizing there. But fit is the biggest thing. That can take you from looking sloppy to polished in 2 seconds. And people don't understand that, a blazer that doesn't hit you right on your shoulders or at your waistline or even on your hips can make you look really unkept and bigger than you are. And, when you get it tailored, or when you find one that just hits you in the right places, that instantly it makes you stand taller. And then people are like, who is that person? So definitely fit. I would say, if anything, challenge yourself to try a size down. At whatever store that you shop at, unless you have found what really, really works for you. And then really take a look at your body and say, what am I not enjoying about what I'm seeing? It's not, to discriminate against yourself or any self-deprecation. It's really just to say, okay, I don't like that I have a little bit of a stomach now, or I don't like that I can see the dimples on the back of my legs, or, for men, it's typically their gut, they can still have a nice chest, nice arms, and sometimes their stomach is just, the biggest thing for them. Or I don't like how my legs look, or I don't like, my shoulders. Like, everybody has something. So really take some time to analyze who you are in the mirror, what you're enjoying, what you're not enjoying. Decide what you want to do. Do you want to learn how to dress it? Do you want to, invest in working on that for yourself? And all of those things contribute into your confidence. Because if we don't have that real conversation in the mirror, no matter how you dress, won't help those inner thoughts that you speak to yourself every day.
I'm like giving you a fist pump right now. Because it's so true. Inner thoughts can kill almost anything that you decide to do.
Yeah, it's super powerful, and what I would have my clients do is take a whiteboard marker and stand in front of the mirror and speak out loud what their thoughts were and write it on the mirror around them. And then step back and look at what you say about yourself. Because when you're having a conversation with yourself, you're not accountable to those thoughts. When it's out loud and when it's in front of you, you have no choice. And I even know, I just turned 30 and I feel like my body has changed, which is fine. Supposedly I'm getting my woman body. That's awesome. But nonetheless, your body changes at different stages of your life. And I was just in Paris styling one of my clients for her photo shoot. And I purchased a new dress from a store that I typically shop at. I know my sizes, tried it on. I sat down and I split the dress. It was hilarious.
Oh my goodness. Oh no.
But it was one of those things that played into, okay, so you either need to like get into the gym and just tone up a little bit. And I'm, for me, I'm tiny. Women would look at me and be like, you're super small. What do you have to worry about? But it's not about your size.
No, not at all.
It really is about your body and how you see it and how your clothes fit on it. So it was really interesting to me because I'm like, I'm not a size up, but I clearly can't wear this size, and I'm not a size down, which I used to be. So realizing, okay, I need to make some adjustments here to, if it's not stretchy, I really can't wear it right now. And there's days that I even walk into my closet and I'm no longer the size that I was a couple months ago because our bodies fluctuate. Mm-hmm. So understanding that too, have pieces in your wardrobe that are structured and that fit, but know that they might not fit you all year round. And then have things that, can flex with you because you're going to need that. And as women, we go through that every single month, right?
True.
Where there's just times during the month where you're like, I can't squeeze into this to save my life if I wanted to, or it just doesn't look the way that it does when I'm not around this time of the month. So just be real with yourself. Like, you're human. We all go through it. Yeah, just be real. Like, nobody's trying to be anything that you're not, but be real, be honest, and then be accepting or do something about it. Those are really our options.
Accepting. I love that one. Mm-hmm. And I like the mirror suggestion too with the dry erase marker. I'm like, yes, that's a good one too. Great self-confidence builder exercises. Now, Shana, I know that you're a certified life coach and a motivational speaker because you're hitting up off this motivation tips while you give amazing career image tips as well. And I love that you encourage your clients to believe that they are more than enough. So please share your definition of being basic and what it means to make boss moves.
So this started last year in October, and I was presenting for Eric Thomas because in the program that we do, you have to speak in front of him and we get graded. And we styled a client, one of the audience members. We had a conversation with her before. She's one of our peers. I virtually shopped for her and she didn't see what we had picked for her. So we just said, dress how you want to. So we pulled her out of the audience, took her in the back, and, put her into this awesome, black pencil skirt with a white corseted top, gold accessories, white purse. And, but we chose these cobalt blue heels that were kind of like a snakeskin print from, her closet. And then I built the outfit around it. And after ET said, but why didn't you go with like a black pump? That's what I was expecting. And I was like, because that's basic. Basic people do things like that. We needed a pop of color on her foot to showcase some of her personality. And then, for women, her area that she wanted to learn how to dress was her stomach. So being able to layer it up in a way, the corseted top was double layered. We had a high-waisted skirt, which is a layer. And you just need sometimes those things that are going to suck you in, cinch you in, and then teach you what does that and what creates the illusion. And so then basic became the word of the day. And I really believe that a lot of us are walking around on doing basic behavior, right? And wearing basic styles because we just don't know better. We don't know what works for us. And some of us act like we don't care. And so when we say that we don't care, that often means one of two things. You're a minimalist, which is fine, but minimalists can still look nice. Or you're somebody who really is just confused about what direction to go into. And so you retreat back to, I'm just going to walk in and pick what's on the mannequin because clearly that goes together. Or, I'm not trying to stand out. That's a huge one. I don't want to stand out. I don't want people to see me. And when you're a professional woman, whether that's your own business or in a professional career, guess what? We are already silenced. We're already unseen. You should stand out for all the right reasons. And so a lot of this comes because when I was younger, I talk a little bit about my history and being a bar star, and I was dressing like a basic woman. I wasn't a woman back then, but you know what I mean? Like I was dressing basic. I wasn't dressing for people to look at me and see a powerful woman, or look at me and see somebody who had something on her mind. I was dressing for people to validate my body. And as I became older, that validation, fiddled, and I really wanted to be recognized for my body. And it was another event that I had gone to, and I remember I was dressed, and there was a gentleman, and I'm using that term loosely, and he was like, "Oh my God, you're killing these white pants." And we're at a professional networking event. And I was like, one, you don't, like, I'm not the one. Two, I didn't dress for you, right? And so also teaching women how to own their bodies and how to own their curves, and to, curves are over-sexualized whether we like it or not. So knowing how to, speak your authentic truth and find your voice again, so that you don't feel like, I don't want to wear something that maybe showcases my behind too much, or my hips, or my breasts, or whatever, because the society has taught us that means that you're putting out sexual advances. That's not true. It means that you're confident in your body, you're confident in your curves, and then you should never have to feel like you're in a position where you're being looked at and not for what you bring to the table. So my whole mission is really about teaching women, curvy women of influence, that you're not just your body, you're not just your curves, you are so much more, but then pipe up and share that.
Indeed. Indeed. Yeah. Now, what has traveling the globe, empowering professionals, because you just shared you went to Paris, has influenced the way you teach and help others on how to rebrand their style and be confident in making what you define as boss moves?
So let me start with the definition of making boss moves, what that is. And really, it truly is, when you see someone and they're just carrying themselves so well, and they don't look like they have a care in the world, and they're doing what it needs to be done for them to get to where they want to be. That's a boss. A boss is relentless. A boss is tenacious. They make tweaks when they need to, but they also give time for things to happen the way that they're meant to. They have vision. They have, an amazing vision for themselves and for others, and they want to be able to give back, and they become relentless in the pursuit of making that obtainable. That's a boss, whether that's in your career or whether that's in your own business. And so traveling the globe, what that's done for me, because I'm based in Canada, going to the States and then going out to Europe and even the Caribbean, has shown me that, one, we're all very alike. Different cultures show you different things, but it really taught me to, one, find the values of yourself. What are your non-negotiables? And, understand that for your wardrobe, but just for you as an individual, because I can dress you up nice, and then if your non-negotiables aren't in alignment with that first impression that you want to create, guess what? Now we're out of whack. So the biggest thing that traveling the globe has helped me to do is just realize that we're all the same. We're all human. Make it real and relatable. There's always a joke or a sentence, or, we can all relate to opening our closet and saying, I don't know what to put on. We can all relate to pulling a skirt up and it not going up. or our jeans. Those are always a hard one, or trying to put on a dress and it won't close. Those are things that we can all relate to. For men, putting on a blazer and you're like, I could barely lift my arms, or, putting on your button up and they're popping, putting on your slacks and they just don't fit your waistline anymore. Those are all challenges that we have as human beings. So the relatability of just seeing that, people in the Caribbean are no different than people in Canada. We all have the same struggles. We might have different budgets or different views on what is deemed appropriate for work. Or different values. Some people don't see the value in investing in their image. So it's my job to showcase them where their gaps are, but it doesn't mean you have to spend a lot. Sometimes I have clients who have $150. Okay, this is what we can do for $150. You know, it might not be a lot, but it's something. And we all have to start somewhere. There's other people who are willing to invest. They won't go on a date without calling me and saying, okay, I need you to style me for my date. Because they get that they want to put forward that best foot at all times, because your image equates to how much you generate, whether we like it or not.
Mm. Touche. So, like, for example, for the listeners, $150, that was the example you just gave. What could that be? Could it be statement jewelry? Could it be a blazer? Could it be a top? Like, what could that nest egg of an investment be?
So to me, you can do one really good outfit, head to toe. So that, you know, that could easily be a jumper or, you know, pants and a top and a blazer. And again, depending on where you like to shop, I really believe in, you know, kind of that middle of the row, 50 to $70 a garment. That's where I like to sit, you know, and then because I know I'm getting a certain level of quality. And so, you know, if you say to me, Shana, can I buy this for $20? I'm going to say you can. But if you were to spend $20 extra, you wouldn't have to buy this again in 2 months. So, you know, that education, the product knowledge, education is so important. But, you know, for $150, I take a lot of clients and do a look for them. Here's your jewelry, your accessories, you know, a bag, possibly some shoes, and an outfit that can transition with some other pieces in your closet. And again, it really depends on the person, how far they want to go. Do they like accessories? Do they not? Sometimes we blow that budget. But once we get started, it's really about making choices when you're on a budget. We can't do everything, but we can do some things. And so I really try and work with what they already have and what works for them. I try to help them eliminate the things that do not work for them so that we get those out of the way so we can stop lying to ourselves about that being a good look. And then, you know, find some accent pieces that can tighten it up a little bit.
I love it. Now, what defines grit? You know, someone's going to need grit as they go through this image consulting journey or image rebranding journey. So what is grit? What do they need to have with staying true to the process of this personal and professional development journey? What is your definition of that?
So the grit piece is being willing. It is a hard but enjoyable. I'm a fun personality, so it will always be fun. That's one of my core values. But it will take you, when you're looking in the mirror and somebody's mirroring back for you what they see that you're putting out, it's hard. I've had women cry in the fitting rooms, you know, or when you're trying things on and it's just not fitting your body the way that you want it to. You're having those moments that you typically either avoid when you go out shopping on your own, or a lot of women don't go shopping for that reason because they don't want to be in the fitting rooms and dealing with that. So they try things on and then they leave, and you leave empty-handed, and then you leave feeling like, I'm not good enough. I'm not pretty enough. My body's not, you know, fit enough. I'm not tall enough. I'm not like skinny enough. All of these things that I'm like, wow, that's ridiculous. If I could just show you what works for you, it would be such a different story. And so the grit piece is really being willing to trust the professionals. And I learned this process when I did my first ever photo shoot. I hired a stylist, a makeup artist, a photographer, and I wanted to be in control of the process because I thought I knew what I needed and wanted. And it wasn't until I kind of relinquished and just let them do what they wanted to do that I saw this different version of myself. I was like, whoa, who I've been trying to become, you guys just created. Mm-hmm. And had I not trusted the process, trusted the professionals to know what they know, and trusted them with me and my image, we wouldn't have gotten the same result. So the grit piece is actually about trust. And trusting yourself in this process, trusting the person to have your best interests at heart. I can't speak for every image consultant, but I care more about you as a human being than I care about your money. I care more about you becoming the woman or the man you're supposed to become than I care about the service. Like it really is about the bigger picture. And if I'm so privileged to be able to help you in that journey, then I take that very seriously.
Well, kudos, because that's awesome.
Thank
Now,
you.
Shana, we end every episode on the Career Tipper podcast with the guest sharing of their favorite quote or affirmation that keeps them creating career tipping moments. So what is your quote or affirmation?
So mine is biblical, and it's more than a conqueror. And I've had that tattooed on me since I was 24, at a point in time in my life where I felt very low. And it just kept being a scripture that kept being referenced for me. And it was one of those things that I realized that, you know what, we all have good days. We all have bad days. We all have situations that sometimes question if we're a good person or if we're doing something right or if we made the right choice. But at the end of the day, we can look back and say, I overcame that. And I think sometimes we don't give ourselves enough kudos, to use your word, and enough, I can't think of the word, but we don't give ourselves enough credit. That's it, for, our journey. And so I really think that, we're all more than conquerors if we really would just take a step back to reflect and celebrate, which is one of the things I love to do. You would really see that, wow, a year from now, a month, from now, you're going to be a completely different person. And the things that are challenging you and trapping you today are just going to be a blip in the story and the experience. I did a post on Facebook one day where I put up the two faces of entrepreneurship. And it was hilarious because, again, I really pride myself on the realness. Being an entrepreneur, being a business owner is difficult. And so there was a picture. I take a picture of myself whenever I have the hard days, me crying, puffy eyes, crazy hair, whatever, where I'm like paralyzed in bed because I don't know how to move forward. Those are less and less, as you start really working at just being relentless in the pursuit of your dreams. But, there was a stage there where I would get depleted and get wiped out, and would take me a week to bounce back. And I wasn't, getting up and dressing to go into my home office. I wasn't, seeing myself as that woman that I told myself that I was. And when I allowed my image to drop in my mind, I started operating that way. I started operating, in a basic manner, which is not okay. And so to get back to that boss position, I had to, look at the other side of entrepreneurship, or being a business owner, which is that there's days where I kill it. And there's days where I get to wake up and I get to free women. That's my mission, is to free women every single day from the things that hold us to the lies that we've either been told or that we tell ourselves about our aesthetics, our wardrobe, about who we can be, about the business that we're starting, about our career paths, our relationships, all of that. So, just that you're more than a conqueror. Like, really take some time to go back and evaluate who you are and who you've become. And if this is where you are right now, where can you go?
I love it. Yes. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you so much. Now, Shana, please tell the listeners how they can get in touch with you. I think some of them might want to reach out and work with you possibly.
Yeah. So the best way, two ways, is either to find me on Facebook, Shana Robinson, and you'll see the spelling of that, on the cover of this, or to just email me directly. It's the word hello at rebrandyou, so RebrandYou.ca, and just share with me. All you have to say is, I heard the podcast, I'd love to chat, and we can go from there. It's never formal. It feels formal for the first 5 minutes, and then it feels like girlfriends chatting. And that's just the culture that we have at Rebrand You, is, you're a friend, and we are just going to use our expertise to help you get to where you need to be. That's it.
Fabulous. And you can find me, Michelle Beatty, at careertipper.com, and on Instagram and Facebook at Career Tipper, and on Twitter at CareerTipper1. Thank you so much for joining us today. And if you enjoyed this episode or any other episode, please leave us a 5-star review on iTunes. Thanks so much, and remember to be confidently you.
Thank you for tuning in to this episode of the Career Tipper Podcast. We're grateful for our listeners and guests. For more resources about how to evolve to your professional best, share your comments and feedback about this episode and your suggestions for future guests, visit careertipper.com. Until next time, be confidently you.